I'm going to discuss with you about the tourism application, how it can be developed using this React JavaScript. So world highlighted places. So what are all the recommended system and its details? I'm going to discuss with you about this project. So how it can be developed using React.js and React Hooks. So what are all the different types of projects that can be developed using this React JavaScript? So all these are the different types of projects that can be developed using this React.js. So firstly, I just discussed with you about React JavaScript and then I gave you some introduction to JavaScript. What do you mean by JavaScript? And I started with HTML. What do you mean by hypertext markup language? What are all the different types of tags and attributes available in HTML? And then I gave you some introduction to React.js. What do you mean by React.js? And finally, I am discussing some of the projects. What are the different types of web applications that can be developed using this React JavaScript? So world highlighted places and its details. So this is one more important application that can be developed using this React.js. Clear with this? So if you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for React.js Internship Program, React.js 1. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for React.js Internship Program, React.js 1. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Clear with this? So what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. So firstly, I just gave you some intro to Java. So what do you mean by JavaScript? I discussed with you about JavaScript, what are all the different types of operators, dialog boxes. And then I gave you some introduction to HTML. What are all the different types of tags and attributes available in HTML? And I gave you some introduction to React JavaScript, how to create some React.js, what are all the advantages and disadvantages, components. And finally, I am going to discuss how to develop some full stack websites using React JavaScript. So this is what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass, React.js masterclass. So what do you mean by this tourism recommendation system? So what we are going to do in this project? So the world highlighted places recommended and its details. So in today's world, tourism has taken place as one of the major sources of foreign exchange for both developed and developing economies. Clear with this? So efficient management of tourists and tourism, it has become important in accessing the benefits accruing from the sector of world economy. So React.js, what are the different types of applications? For example, if I want to develop a disease prediction app. So what are the different types of applications? So far, I just gave you some introduction to JavaScript. So what do you mean by, what are the different types of events in JavaScript? What is the use of on-click event, on-mouse over event, on-change event? Clear with this? So next I'm going to discuss with you about this. So tourism application. So this is one more type of application that can be developed using this React.js, React JavaScript. So, for example, it is made for customer. It can easily know the details about the other places and the travel cost. Clear with this? So, it is flexible on both mobile view and website view with good user interface. Clear? So, I'm just giving you a brief overview. So, what are the different types of applications? A tourism application can be developed, or some disease prediction apps, weather application. For example, I want to know the weather details, whether it is going to be a rainy day or sunny day. So, I can go for this tourism app. So, it is one of the important applications that is developed using this React JavaScript. So, when I'm going to log into this app, so I can just view the details. So, what are the relevant details, and I'm going to get the relevant response. So, I'm just giving you a brief overview about this project. So, what we are going to do in this project. So, currently in the existing system, so what is happening? So, whenever a person he wants to travel to some place, it is going to take a high travel cost. Clear with this? So, it is going to have some slow render system. So, no much information about the current innovative places. So, all these are the disadvantages of my existing system. Clear with this? So, for example, everything happens manually. So, whenever a tourister visits, so he is going to see what all the available places. So, everything happens manually. So, when he wants to book some tickets, what is the source and what is the destination? So, everything happens manually. So, all these are the disadvantages of my existing system. So, in order to overcome, so what is happening in the current system? So, why everything is becoming online? In today's world, so internet is taking role. So, everything is becoming online. So, I can imagine an online restaurant management system, hotel management system, hospital management system. So, everything is becoming online. Just we are going to log in and we are going to get the relevant details. So, the information security. So, whatever transactions are happening, for example, in an e-commerce industry, whenever a person he is going to log in by providing his credentials, whatever is the login ID and password, so he can just view the products, what are all the different products, he is going to pay the amount and he can just check out. So, it has taken its role in the e-commerce industry, or I can go for banking sector, hospital management system. So, what is happening in the proposed system? So, this is what is happening in the existing system. So, in order to overcome the shortcomings of this existing system, so what we are going to see in this proposed system. So, flexible cost according to the places. So, we have some correct information about the tourism places, better user interface. So, all these are the advantages of my proposed system. So, what we are going to do? So, I am going to develop a tourism application using this React JavaScript. So, I'm going to employ various kinds of React.js features and I'm going to develop a tourism app using this React JavaScript. So, when you look at the system architecture, so all these are the different blocks that are present in the system architecture diagram. For example, I have this tour list data. So, what are the list of places to visit? So, I'm going to get the request from the server. So, whatever is the server, so I'm going to get the request. So, get request from the API. I'm going to fetch the data, request the data, and I'm going to send the response back to the server. Clear with this? So, when you look at the system architecture diagram, so you can just observe. So, what are the different blocks that are involved in this system architecture diagram? So, all these are the different blocks that are involved in this system architecture diagram. Clear with this? So, I'm just having this tour list data and then it is being given to the server. So, I'm going to get the request from the server and I'm going to get the request from the API. So, whatever is the request data, so it is being sent here. So, I'm going to fetch the response, get the response data from the API and it is being sent back to the browser for display. Clear with this? So, what are the different blocks that are involved in the system architecture diagram? So, all these are the different blocks that are involved in the system architecture diagram. So, whenever, just giving you a brief overview. So far I was discussing with you about React JavaScript. So what do you mean by events? What are the different features of React.js? So I was discussing with you about functional components, states. So what do you mean by states? Whenever I want to give some information or data about my components, I can go for this states in React JavaScript. Whenever I am going to consider or construct any kind of React.js application, components are the major building blocks. So they are the heart or the core of any kind of React.js application. So whenever I am going to consider any kind of React.js application, components are the major building blocks. Clear with this? So what do you mean by components? So components are the major building blocks of any kind of React.js application. Still, I was discussing with you about properties. Whenever I want to pass in some parameter or arguments to my function, I can go for properties. Clear with this? So what is the use of properties in React.js? And then I was discussing with you about components. What are the different methods that are present in the React component lifecycle? So I have setState method. Clear with this? So what are the different types of methods that are present in the React component API? So I have a setState method, and then I have force, update, find, download. So all these are the different types of methods that are present in the React component API. So whenever I consider this use case diagram, so all these, for example, a user, he can view a tour list information, he can get the details about the place. So whenever I am going to visit any tourist website, so first I should know, so what are the list of places to visit? So next I am going to get the details about the place. For example, where it is located. So what is the total cost? So what is the starting point, destination point? So I am going to make some decision about the place here. Clear with this? So view the tour list information. So all these are the different modules or blocks that are present. So whenever a user he is going to log in, he can have this tourism app, he can view the list of information. He can view a tour list information. So what are the list of places to visit? So after viewing the list of information, he is going to get the details about the place. So what is the total cost, how to visit this place? So all these are the different blocks that are involved in this use case diagram. So I am just depicting, so how this entire project, how this works, what are the different modules that are present in this project. So all these are the different modules that are present in this project. So firstly, he is going to view a tour list information. So what are the different list of tourist places? And the next one, he is going to get the details about that place. So where that place is located, he is going to get the relevant details about that place. And finally, he is going to make some decision about that place. Clear with this? So what are the different blocks that are involved in the use case diagram? So the next comes the sequence diagram. So what do you mean by the sequence? So what do you mean by a use case diagram? So there will be a user. So what are the different actions that are performed by a specific user? It is given by this use case diagram. And there is one more type of diagram. It is called as a sequence diagram. So what do you mean by this sequence diagram? So it gives a list of order of actions that is going to take place. For example, there will be a user. He is going to send some request. The request is sent to the server. So whenever he is going to get the request, send the request data. So it is being sent back to the server and he is going to get the response, and the data response will be sent back to the user. Clear with this? So what do you mean by the sequence diagram? So it depicts, so what is the order in which different actions or events are happening. For example, a user. So there will be a user block, there will be a server block, and there will be a data block. So whenever a user, he is going to log in. So whenever he is a new user, there will be an admin person. He is going to maintain the entire system. He acts like a central controller. So whenever a new user, he is going to log in or log out. So he needs to maintain all those details. Clear with this? So whenever a user, he is going to come in. So he is going to send some request. And whenever he is sending some request, it goes to the server and then get the request data back from this get response and get the data response here. So in order to do this project, so tourism system project, so what are all the hardware and software requirements that are essential to do this project? So I require this Windows operating system and I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. So all my development, so everything takes place in the Visual Studio Code. And when you come to the hardware requirements, so far I just discussed with you about the software requirements. When you come to the hardware requirements, so what are the different hardware requirements that are essential to do this project? So I require 2 gigabytes of hard disk and 1 GB RAM memory capacity, random access memory. I require this dual core processor, mouse, keyboard, monitor. So all these are the different hardware and software requirements that are essential to do this project. So I require this mouse, keyboard, monitor and then CD drive. So all these are the different hardware and software requirements that are essential to do this project. So next I'm going to discuss with you about the implementation section. So far I just gave you some introduction to touring application. So how this application is being developed using this React JavaScript. So next I'm going to discuss with you about the implementation section. So this is my tour app. So I have this code. For example, inside this I'm having this app.js. So all my .js files are present in my source folder. So I have this app.js, I have this index.js, loading.js, I have this tour.js, tours.js. So all my .js files are present inside my source folder. So inside my app.js, so all my .javascript files are present in my source folder. So I have this package.json, so all my project configurations are present in my package.json file. And in my app.js, so firstly I need to import the corresponding modules from React. For example, I am just importing React, useState. So all these are the different types of hooks available. So whenever I am going to consider any React.js application, so I have to go for hooks, React hooks. So they are used to provide some states, as I was telling you, right? So what is the use of states? They provide some data or information about my component. And what is the use of this hooks? So whenever I want to provide some state, that is information about my functional component, so I can go for this hooks concept. So I am just importing React, useState, useEffect from React. And then I am importing this loading from loading. So what are all the different modules? So firstly, I need to import the corresponding modules from React. Clear with this? So whenever I am giving any constant, so constant URL, for example, I am giving the URLs here. And inside this, whenever I want to define any user defined function, I am using the function keyword followed by the name of the function. Clear with this? So whenever I want to define any user defined function, so I am just using the function keyword followed by the name of the function. So I am defining a function called app function, and inside this I am loading some constants. For example, loading and then set loading. So I am calling this useState. So I can go for different types of hooks available in React JavaScript. So I can go for useState or I can go for some other type of hooks. So I am just loading a constant. For example, loading and then set loading and set tours. So firstly, whenever a person he is going to visit any kind of touring website, so first he should know. So what are the list of places to visit? So I'm just loading this set loading. So I'm just giving this useState function. I'm just initializing this to true. And remove tour. So whenever I want to remove any tour, so I'm giving this id tours.filter function. So whenever my tour id it is not equal to id, so it is stored in the variable new tours. So response. So await, I'm just fetching this URL and response.json file. For example, I'm just converting this to a JSON format, JavaScript object notation. It is stored in the variable tours. And set loading. So I'm just set tours. I'm just setting this tours. So I'm going for different types of events available in JavaScript. So I can go for this on-clicked event. So once I'm going to go for this fetch tours, so I'm going to call this fetch tours. And all my stylings are provided in my index.css file. For example, I want to add some color value, hue saturation, color value. So lighter shades of primary color, darker gray. Clear with this? So inside my body, so I'm having this. I have different types of headers. I am having this h1 tag and font size I am giving here as 3 rem. And I have this header h2 tag and paragraph tags. So whenever I want to display any single tool, so I'm having this background. So whatever is the background and border radius, I'm just mentioning. And transition, for example, box shadow, I'm just giving here. And whatever is the width and height. And object fit. So whatever is object fit and border top right radius. Clear with this? So align items, margin bottom. So all these are the different properties I'm just adding inside my index.css file. So what is the use of cascaded style sheet? So whenever I want to add any kind of styling elements, everything should be added inside my index.css file. And inside this index.js, so what is the use of .js files? All my JavaScript codings are written inside my .js files. So inside my index.js, I am just importing the corresponding modules from React. So I am importing this React from React. And then I am importing this React DOM from React DOM. And then I am importing this index.css. So whenever I want to add any cascaded style sheet, so I am just adding this index.css. Clear with this? So I am just importing this app from app. And whenever I want to render something in my web browser, using this React DOM using dot operator, I am just calling this inbuilt function called render function. And inside my loading.js, so I have all these .js files. So I am importing React from React. And constant loading. So whenever I want to load something, so I'm just initializing this as a constant value. Clear with this? So I'm just giving here as constant loading. For example, whenever I want to return something, so I'm just having this return keyword. And div class name. So the entire hypertext markup language, it is based on tags and attributes. So whenever I'm going to consider any kind of that is HTML language, so everything is based on tags and attributes. Here with this, so I'm just having this div tag and class name attribute. For example, class name equal to loading. And inside my tour.js, so whatever .js files, all my .js files are present in my source folder. So I'm just importing this React and useState. So whatever is the type of hook, so I'm just importing the corresponding hooks from React. So I am using this tour, for example, ID, image, information. So all these are the different attributes I am using here. So class name, article, I am just going to display some article. So I am having this tours.js. Clear with this? So firstly, you should understand. So what are all the different things we are doing here? So this is a use case diagram which I discussed just now. So what is the role played by this user? So he is going to view a tour list information. So whenever he wants to visit any places, firstly he should have a list of different places. What are the different places to visit? So he is going to have a tour list information. And he is going to get the details about the place. So after viewing a tour list information, so he is going to get the corresponding details about that place. And he is going to make the decision about that place. Clear with this? So what is the tour? That is tour.png. You can just see here when you look at the architecture diagram. So you can just observe. So what are the different blocks that are present in the system architecture diagram? So all these are the different blocks that are present in the system architecture diagram. So I have this tour list data. So he is going to visit a list of tourist places. And then he is going to get the request from the server. So whenever he is going to send in some request, so he is going to request from the API. So he needs to fetch the weather related, that is tourist places information from the API. So after fetching the relevant data, the response will be sent back to the browser. Clear with this? So inside this tools.js, so all these are the different .js files that are present in my source folder. So inside my tools.js, so I'm just importing the corresponding modules from React. So I'm just importing React from React. And then I'm importing tour from tour. For example, whatever is the tourist places, I'm just importing tour from tour. Clear with this? I'm just initializing a constant called tours. What are all the different tours? And inside this, whenever I want to return something, so I'm just using this return keyword, and inside this I'm having this section. So I'm having different types of tags and attributes. So the entire hypertext markup language, HTML language, it is based on tags and attributes. So I'm having this div tag and class name. So what is the use of attributes? They provide some additional information about my tag elements. So whatever type of tag elements I'm using, so what is the use of attributes? They provide some additional information about my tag elements. So I'm just giving here. So div class name equal to title. It is having a starting header tag and a closing header tag. And tours.mapoff. So I'm just picking this touring values. I'm going to return the tour key ID and remove tour. So whenever I want to remove any tours, I'm just doing like this. Clear with this? So I have all my project dependencies are present in my package.json file. So I have this React DOM, React scripts, whatever is the version I'm just giving here. Clear with this? So this is how my project structure looks like. So whenever I want to install something, so I'm just giving the command as npm space install. So once all my project dependencies are installed, so next time I need to give the command as npm space start. So once I'm going to, I want to execute this application, so I need to give the command as npm space start. So after doing this, I'm just giving the command as npm space start. So all my React scripts will be executed and the result will be displayed in my web browser. So it is just loading. It is going to take some time. Clear with this? So you can just see here, if you want to minimize, I am just resetting this. So all these Paris, so I am just giving what are all the best tourist places. So Paris is synonymous with the finest things that culture can offer in art, fashion, food, literature and ideas. So on this tour, Paris savvy Rick Steve's guide will immerse you in the very best of the city of the light. Clear with this? So it provides a short description about this place. You will also enjoy guided neighborhood walks through the city's historic heart as well as quieter moments to slow down and savor the city's intimate caves, colorful markets and join us for the best of Paris in 7 days. Clear with this? So I am just giving you about different types of places. So you have this Ireland here. So firstly I am discussing with you about Paris and then I am discussing with you about Ireland. So what are the different places? So if you want to read more, you can just read more. So I have this Rome. So all these are the different types of places. Poland. Clear with this? So this is one simple example of tourism application using React JavaScript. And still, what are the other type of applications? So a variety of applications can be developed using this React.js. So this is one simple application. A tourism application can be developed. For example, I have shown you, right? So what are all the different .js files and how this tourism application can be developed using this React JavaScript. So I have these scripts. And inside this loading.js, so I have all these loadings. So I have this div. So whatever is the class name, I am giving the corresponding class name. So what is the use of attributes? They provide some additional information about my tag elements. So whatever type of tag elements I am using. So what is the use of attributes? They provide some additional information about my tag elements. So I have this tools.js. I have this tool.js. All my .js files are present here. So firstly, I am just importing the corresponding modules from React. So I am importing this React and useState from React. And then I am initializing a constant called tour. So what are the different attributes? I have this ID, image, info, name, price. Clear with this? So read more or set read more. So useState hook. So whenever I want to provide any state about my functional components, I can go for this useState hooks. Clear with this? So with this, I am just stopping this video. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for React.js internship program, React.js 1. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for React.js internship program, React.js 1. This is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, You will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. So what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. So firstly, I just discussed with you about JavaScript. What is the use of Java? What do you mean by events, cookies, arrays? And then I gave you some introduction to HTML. What do you mean by hypertext markup language? What are the different types of tags and attributes available in HTML? And then I started with React JavaScript. So what are the different features of React.js? And finally, I will be discussing how to develop some full stack websites using React.js. So with this, I am just stopping this video. So remaining things, I will just continue in my next videos. Thank you all.